What is up, everyone? Welcome to another weekly news video. Today we're going to talk through a bunch of different things. We're going to talk about how Panini's patches are terrible once again, but more importantly, we're going to talk to how one of their competitors is doing things so fantastically well when it comes to game use stuff that they seriously need to take a leaf out of their book. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to also talk to a specific group breaker who has been burning cards on stream. I think it's pretty silly. I'm not judging, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on that and hopefully bring that across your plate as well if you haven't seen it. We'll then talk to some other videos that I've released this week and some more discussion points that I have on those. Now, the first thing I want to touch on, like I said, are these game use patches, or sorry, player worn patches or player associated patches. Now, this is from my weekly news video, I believe it was last week, where we spoke about how there was issues like this with NFL Spectra, the recent release, right? Where you had, players like Ahmed Gardner with this, he's a Jets player, got a Commanders piece of jersey in there. You've got other things with regards to, I think they were Raiders players, they had Dolphins jerseys in there. So many mistakes appeared to be happening in Spectra. So essentially what occurred was, people started doing stuff like this where they were ripping up cards as shared by Lamim James, and they were finding out there's lots of cards out there that, have the wrong player associated with them. And the way people figured this out is because what Panini do is they have like this little sticker on the back of the jersey that gets stuck in the card. That's how it's linked to which player they need to put them in the cards for, right? And the thing that needs to be kept front of mind is some of these cards are not player associated, right? They're not associated with any game, event, player, etc. So they're just memorabilia. So this is technically not an error by Panini, which is pretty funny, which is why Lamim James calls it out, because he has this little meme at the very start. Like, it's big brain when you're trying to catch Panini out on cards. They're saying things like this on, right? Where it's not associated with any game, memorabilia, player, so on and so forth. Again, it's an interesting thing from Panini, but there's a competitor out there that is doing things so much better than them, and I don't think enough people know about it or talk about it because it's not a hugely popular, manufacturer. Now, I have a game used jersey here from 2013. I'm going to cut up in a video next week. It's going to pay me to do it. I was curious to see if it matches. If it doesn't, it's pretty interesting. So stay tuned for that for next week. But in regards to the point I'm trying to make here is this card that was hit by Firehand Cards. You can see me commenting here on Twitter as I accidentally clicked off like an idiot. But essentially what Futera do, if you weren't aware, is with their game use stuff, on the back of the card, they'll explicitly tell you which game that jersey and what date that jersey was worn in, which is, so fantastic in my opinion. Now, they do a lot of stuff here for rugby league cards. For some of our one-on-ones, they've been more relevant with some of our patches in the past, so I know Futera quite well when it comes to this sort of thing. In the past, it doesn't work right now, their website, but you used to get a code on the back of your card, and it also used to tell you, if you punch it in their website, exactly which piece of the jersey, the patch or jersey memorabilia piece in your card came from, which is so cool, right? When you think about, how with Panini, you're always trying to guess which season the jersey came from, or whether it's even associated with a player, or whether it was worn in, a trial game or a preseason game, all these things, right? Futera take it one step further and say, you know what? Not only are we going to tell you exactly which game your jersey came from, but we're going to tell you where on the jersey your piece of memorabilia came from, which is so freaking cool. This is honestly something that Panini should be doing for, key rookies in things like Flawless NT or key players in each of those flagship products. This is so fantastic, and it's so underrated in my opinion. Like, if you're a true card collector, you can truly appreciate this because, I commented on this, the person who hit the card through Firehand Breaks, or Firehand Cards, I should say, basically said, you know what, I went and watched that jersey, I went and watched the game the jersey's from, guess what, Messi scored, and guess what, he wore that jersey on my birthday. Like, that's so cool as a collector to get that, added value out of it. And, the other point, because you know which game the jersey's from, and Messi scores as an example, let's say Panini start doing this, and they do it for someone like Tom Brady, and the jersey's from a game in which he broke some sort of record. Don't you think, having a card with a really sick patch in a game that he did something really, really good in will add an additional value from an investment perspective? Now, I know, I'm a collector first and foremost, so the investment piece doesn't really matter to me, but as a collector, knowing exactly where a jersey came from and maybe something really cool happened from that player in that game is just a completely added dimension of collecting that I think is so freaking cool. And I really hope Panini do something like this. So if you weren't aware that Futera do this sort of stuff, please share your thoughts down in the comments below, because they do some really, really cool cards. Obviously, they do soccer cards. They do a bunch of other sports as well. That stuff is just so freaking cool in my opinion. This card is also cool because that frame is actually 24 karat gold. They do that here in Australia with some of our rugby league one-of-ones as well. So fantastic. I love it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, the next thing is going to be this card here with Chomps Live Breaks. It's a pretty interesting one because, someone hit this super refractor. I forget the player's name. I can't go back now because it'll stuff up my YouTube. But essentially they said, have you burnt a superfractor before? The guy said no. They said, let's burn it live on stream, which is, utterly ridiculous in my opinion. I don't know why you would do that. Now, when I first saw this on Twitter yesterday, a lot of people in the comments in the threads that were posted on Twitter said, you know what, the breaker shouldn't have done this. If the person who hit the card wanted to do it, they should do it themselves. Having watched this now, it looks like this breaker has done it multiple times before on his break. Now, again, I'm not judging. I just find it odd. Like, it's just weird to do it for like things like one-of-ones. I can understand if you want to do it for like base cards because they're so overprinted, but they do them for one-of-ones. They do them for, printing plates as they touch on. They've done it for other one-of-ones. It's just really weird in my opinion. So I'm keen to get your thoughts on this down in the comments below as well. Like, if you were to see this from this breaker, would you break with him? Like, personally, I wouldn't, because I just think it's dumb. Like, and it's not for me. It's not my kind of crowd. Generally, everyone in the comments in the thread, because they're customers of this guy, seem to really like it. I just think it's, really unfortunate, really silly. There's probably somebody out there, even though this guy's not a very good player, based on what people have told me, that could have made someone really happy. Again, you're sort of free to do whatever you want. It's your card, but I'm just very curious as to what kind of business practice this is. And I'm not judging. I just find it odd. I wouldn't break with them. I'm really keen to get your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this something that would impact you enough to not break with this guy? Or do you think it's cool? Do you think it's funny? Does that mean now you're going to go break with this guy? Like, I'm not judging either way. I'm keen to understand like where the value is in doing something like this. Like, do people actually find it entertaining? Do people actually enjoy it? It looks like here they do, but again, I'm just asking the question. I'm not judging. It's not for me, but at the end of the day, you're free to do whatever the heck you want, right? I'm not here to judge you like I just touched on. Now, earlier on this week, I should say, I released, 2 videos that I think are really important for you to check out if you haven't seen them. So there's actually a pretty major scam that's been going on eBay for the last couple of years with regards to one seller who has essentially been cracking slabs, replacing the cards, and taking the genuine label and putting a fake card in that slab and trying to resell it. There's a thread on the Blowout forums, which I go into in my video, that has pages of, cards that this person has scammed, right? And it's a really disappointing thing to see, because the account is still active. Lots of the cards have been decertified by PSA, but it's just a really alarming situation. So please, check it out if you haven't already. I've released 2 videos on it because there was a bit more information with regards to the second video. The account is still active. It looks like the guy might be working with someone in the Anaheim area, if I remember correctly, with regards to getting either genuine off-the-shelf PSA slabs somehow, or they're working with somebody very close to PSA to get fake slabs. It's the general consensus with regards to what's happening right now, which is extremely alarming. So please check out the video if you haven't seen it already. Again, if you have, thank you for watching, and please let me know if you have any other thoughts on that down in the comments below. Now, the other video that came out yesterday was regards to like a changing of the guard within the hobby. Now, check this video out because it's off the back of 2 videos that Cage Lawyer put out with regards to, I feel like I'm saying with regards to a lot, guys on the left, which is the old school collectors, and the new guys on the right being the new collectors. The hobby's going to be fine long term is the general gist of the video. Now, I think the hobby's going to be fine long term. I think there's just a few interesting discussion points. So if you haven't seen the video, please check it out. But more importantly, read the comments, because there's been a lot of really good chat with some of the commenters, as there always is. It's my favorite part about making videos, to be honest, having those chats with you in the comments. Really good perspectives from people. I think it's exciting. It's different, right? Like seeing guys with slabs and flipping things as their main source of, love for the hobby is probably a hard thing for us to get a hold of. Us old school collectors being the guys that like to set collect. But again, we're not hating. It's just curious to see what that might mean, what that mindset might do to the hobby, long term. So check out those comments, and let me know down in the comments below of this one what your thoughts were. Now, that's sort of it for today. Not a whole lot to talk through, which is pretty cool. I hate talking about bad things within the hobby, so when I can talk about, some interesting things like that Futera card, I really enjoy it, because that sort of stuff is, fantastic. There's nothing cooler than that, in my opinion, when it comes to the hobby. It's just so cool to know where a jersey came from. You can sit back and watch that game and just have more fun as a collector. Now, it sounds dumb, but me being a nerd, me being a collector, that's stuff that, really, really appeals to me, and I'm sure it does for you as well. So thanks for watching. As always, share your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.